What's happening, YouTube? So today, got into the Nova a little bit. Had some fun with it. I put this thing up for sale like 6 months ago. I took it off Facebook Marketplace because of all the people on there. Just, trade for this, trade for that. Can you work on the price? I offer this before I come seeing it. A little word of advice. If you're dealing with anybody online, you know who the serious people buying cars are, because they're not going to sit there and start talking price before they even see it. A little word to the wise. I've bought and sold a few cars in my day. You start getting into that, talking lower in price and whatever before they even see the thing. Now you're at X amount. They come here and they see something else, they'll try knocking it down even more. It is what it is. There is an ass for every seat, as they say. So, if you do list a car on Facebook Marketplace, no negotiations until you come see the car. That's it, and that'll shake a lot of the flakes away. So, anyways, with this, I put it as pending because I wasn't really sure if I was going to sell it or not. And some guy who initially got with me on this, I told him there was a bunch of people interested. There was so many people coming here looking at it. I said, yeah, if it doesn't sell, I'll get back to you. And obviously I forgot. So, and I really wasn't, needing to sell it or thinking about selling it. He sent me a message, maybe like a month ago, and he's like, hey, you still got that? I'm in the market. So I kept in contact with him. He came and test drove it last weekend. Loves it. Local guy, knows his stuff. Really into Camaros, but he might want his first Nova. So went through it, checked the fluids, told him I'm gonna flush the oil and flush the trans fluid. Me assuming these gaskets, these bolts were tight for the valve cover gaskets. They weren't. They were like finger tight, if that. A few days before he showed up, I tried cleaning this up a little bit, just spraying it out. There was dust, and it gets dust all over the place all the time. So I was just spraying it, wiping it down, and enough of it must have pooled up. So there was like 2 white dots where water was in the oil. So pulled the valve cover off in front of him. Explained the situation, told him I'm going to flush it and run it. So that's what I did today. I drained the oil and fought with the oil filter for about an hour and a half. Real pain in the ass with these big blocks. If you put this thing on with a filter wrench and crank the piss out of it, when it's time to pull this thing off, if you're not doing it, someone's going to hate you, because it takes everything you have not to take a hammer to the car. And luckily I had a filter wrench, plus I hammered a couple long flatheads through there, and using both in tandem and everything I had, there wasn't much room between the header and where the filter goes. Cracked it loose, just slowly. The thing fought me to the end until it finally broke free and I could spin it with my fingers. So word to the wise, hopefully you got good hand strength. Lube up the filter, the ring, and tighten it by hand. Use 2 hands. Don't use a wrench, because you'll never get it off. That's a promise. See, what else did I do to it today? I went underneath, just checked for leaks. There was some stuff like spray on the trans pan and the oil pan, and I was kind of looking. I'm like, well, the oil pan isn't leaking, the front seal isn't leaking. So that's time for the detective work to see where this leak is coming from and spraying underneath the car when you're driving. And sure as shit, I found it. This line right here for the power steering. Power steering was a little low. I opened the cap, checked it out, and you can see it's still a little moist. So I got to pull that off tomorrow, tighten it up, see why it's actually leaking. But that'll do it. The telltale sign was, I don't know if you can see it, but a little paint is eating off the sway bar. and all under here was just nasty. So the other side wasn't so bad. It was actually kind of like how it is, just sitting there kind of clean. I thought maybe it was the fuel pump block off that was leaking, maybe the front seal, whatever. No, power steering. So it is what it is. I'll tackle that tomorrow, but besides that, we're good with this. Now the Willys, you can see, is off the ramps because obviously the Nova's on it, and she's sitting low. The ass is still up in the air on jack stands. Just gotta button up a few things. Hose clamp the water lines. That's the alternator feed. I gotta kind of clean that wiring up and terminate it inside there to the shut-off switch. It's going to the back, so it kills everything. That's really it. Fenders. Bolt the fenders on, clean up those brake lines, and see where this is going to lay. I think, from what I remember, the fender comes down underneath here, so we might have enough room. Might have to notch it, but the Grand National pipe fits like it was made for this thing. Besides, right at the frame, little pop will take care of that. So I got to adjust the springs. Really not sitting level, so this one needs to come up a bit. They were kind of just thrown in there when this thing didn't have any motor in it, and this is really the first time it's actually been on the ground. So I'll get the rear axles in. That's an old axle right there. Get the the new axles in and get her on all fours and kind of tune the suspension as much as I can, like adjust it. So it's probably going to change by the time I get it to the track. We'll see how she hooks up, but it is what it is. So I just want to keep you guys in the loop on the projects right now. Nice headers. Very expensive headers for this thing. With the pipes kit and the headers will be going with it. So this garbage, these were originally in the Willys, and they had to be beat up a little bit to go in, and then had to be beat even more for the power steering. I think the front tube right there was, this is the difference here. There was something in the front here. Oh, I think it was that's right, the steering column, the shaft. Had to clear that, so that got beat to death. So too bad. Nice set of hooker headers, but no. I'd cut them off personally and just run the ceramic. What are those? Yeah, ceramic headers. Nice. Either way, tomorrow, oil change it is. Take her for a test spin and see what she can do. So, either way, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you soon.